Life Saga TV community, we are here today to do another analysis for 14th August 2025. All right. So some people think that we should keep quiet about politics and stay off, but I don't believe so, because is there anything that happens without touching politics? Even the churches, they are in a different section. But do you know, somehow, somewhat, politics influences the churches, or rather the churches influence politics. So it is what it is. So I'm quite unable to spend a day without talking about politics. Even before I started the reactions, I was doing it just on board, like talking to people and arguing about things that are happening around us. And I think I realized that this can be a good content for my platform. So welcome, community. I really appreciate your presence. Most of you are subscribing, you are liking my videos, you're watching, and I can't take that for granted. I really appreciate and take a lot of gratitude in you, because without you, then why would my channel be there? So, and I give my special thanks to the people I learn from, because we have so many platforms I watch, including Lequini, David Wafula, and you know, I also watch Plug TV, Ikonini podcast, Maisha TV. So all those, Kenya New Alerts, all those platforms give me a reason to go on, because I watch what they are doing, and I relate with what I'm doing. Sometimes I gather data based on what they have got already. So guys, there's a lot of ginger in political pot, a lot of ginger. And we're gonna sit down and watch that, listen to one thing or the other. So welcome. It is an afternoon in Kenya. It's 2:28 p.m. So you can chat, actually, wagwan for those from Jamaica, Argentina, hola, from South Africa, momon, Turkey, marhaba, and Germany, good afternoon. Then we have Wakenya wenzangu, karibuni sana, welcome, hamjambo, natumai mko wazima. So let's go on with our today's analysis, guys. So talk about the manifesto, JLP and PNP. This is something that I did some time ago, but I feel like I should go back to it. Huh? Guys, PNP and JLP, Jamaica news, they have some very tough news, but I'm told none of them is able to actually account on where they'll get money to sponsor their manifesto, right? So when you look at JLP have said that their approach towards economy is market-led, right? So they are focusing on microeconomy stability. Macroeconomy stability. You understand? So major aspects of the economy should grow fast. PNP, on the other hand, are focusing on equity, right? Making sure that everybody accesses resources, So they want to include every family. Raj, baby, hi, welcome on board. Thank you for the like. I really appreciate. Lightning, welcome on board. Thank you, and you can like the video. Subscribe to the channel if you've not subscribed. I'm so grateful that every day we do a live stream, we get some 3 or 4 subscribers. Doris Mwenesi, oh, thank you so much. You've been here so many times. I keep seeing you on my channel, and I really appreciate. Thank you. And you can like the video for today. All right. So Lightning, Raj Baby, Doris Mwenesi, big up to you, and welcome on our Life Saga TV channel. Let's dig down to the ginger of political analysis, guys. So I've started with Jamaica first. Doris Mwenesi says, I already liked. Thank you. Doris Mwenesi liked. Lightning, please like the video. Lightning, like the video. Raj Baby, like the video. All right. I can see an emoji there. Lightning, what's up? Okay. Lightning and Raj Baby. All right. Somebody has liked. I think it's Lightning has liked the video. Thank you so much. Raj Baby, like the video. All right, these are our top fans starting it. And of course, I normally just start because when we wait, time is not waiting. And sometimes our network is not waiting. The bundles have been taxed. Before you know it, they have amused. All right. So sometimes we use routers, but there are times we have to struggle with bundles before we get the enough subscription for the month. So bear with us, but we are into the political analysis. And today I've decided to start with Jamaica. I hope people in the house, you know, that 3rd of September 2025, Jamaica will be throwing, or rather, picking the new leaders. I don't know whether holiness will be maintained. He has done a great job, but I don't know. It's upon the people of Jamaica to decide whether they'll maintain holiness to go for the 3rd time or whether they'll pick somebody else. And we'll be coming back to Kenya for the exploration into the GACHAGUA. GACHAGUA has decided to cut down the journey in America or USA and come back to Kenya. So we'll be thinking about why. Of course, we know the reasons. And SUDI, of course, has had backlash. SUDI has had a very hot backlash from some USA members, guys. So let's start with Jamaica. So on Jamaican news, of course, we've been seeing a lot of rallies, and Holiness announced the other day, election day as 3rd of September 2025. So thank you so much for everything and your presence here. You can contribute towards our discussion. Oh, my second like went. Who did away with my second like? I had 2 likes and one of them went away. Is it Doris or Lightning? I don't know. All right, so let's continue with our discussion, and I'll encourage you to like the video so that we have as many likes as possible and enhance the logarithms, guys. So Lightning, it seems your like went away, or Doris, I'm not so sure. Oh, why is it appearing as 1 on my side? I don't know. It's okay. We'll see with time. Maybe it's about the, whatever happens, I can't tell. All right, so let's proceed to our discussion. For those who know Jamaica, of course, I've told you 3rd of September, they'll be having the elections. There have been so hot discussions surrounding everything, around the candidates. Of course, we met other people like Lawrence. We met the madam, the teacher who said that there is fire, and people really had to backlash her, but everything went silent later on. And we've seen, quite different candidates in Jamaica, if I have to recall. We saw, of course, JLP are still hanging on Andre Holiness. Yeah, Jamaica, a lot of Christians. It is a lot of Christians there. Of course, Jamaica practices Christianity much, but we still have some other churches, some other religions, let me say so. So, Finance Minister, of course, for JLP was Dr. Nigel Clark. Then Education Minister, they are relying on Faival Williams, and National Security, Dr. Horace Cheng. Those are that is the list of their candidates, right? I hope you heard that. And now at MP levels, they have different candidates also. Now, when you come to PNP, at Prime Minister level, they have a candidate known as Mark Golding. Of course, if you checked about him, he's been in a corporate lawyer. Then Finance and Planning, they are having a candidate known as Julian Robinson, right? That who has been a tech forward kind of person, advocating equity. That is why their party is longing for that. Then in Education, they have Damian Crawford, and National Security, they have Peter Bunting, all right? So, okay, Lightning is saying, and it might become not, depending on the election, all right? But I can't see the candidates being of any different religion because, Jamaica, they rely so much on US. So you'll have one group relying on Soviet, the kind of reformist party, while the other ones are liberals. So they just I think they rely so much on US. just like the politics in US have two major parties, that is the same thing that happens in Jamaica. So you realize that, for example, Prime Minister Holiness was planted by as a Republican Party from US, and on the other side, Mark Golding is being pushed by another party from US, right? Okay. So let's quickly go through their, just analyzing their manifesto, then we come back to a discussion of Kenyan politics, because that is what actually brought me here. So as I've told you, the manifestos of two different parties, JLP and PNP, we realize that JLP are market-led oriented. So they are focusing on, I'm English, but this is important and interesting. Okay. All right. Yeah. So JLP, for example, they are market-led. So it's a party that is focusing on the stability of macro economic, and that is the approach in politics, whereas PNP is focused on equity, equity within the community. So they want economic inclusion of everybody and every sector. When you look at their approach towards crime, JLP are tough on crime, and therefore they want zones and force, right? So they are trying to use zones and then force to handle crime. And when you look at PNP, on the other hand, they are focused towards preventive, right? They have a preventive approach. So they want to look at the root cause of the crime, so that they sort out from the community level. And that is why you can hear Holiness talking about policing at community level, going for the criminals and changing them, So that is their focus. When you look at approach towards governance, JLP has a gradual reformation approach. They want to have a continuous process of changing everything, right? In governance, in matters governance. PNP, on the other hand, they have a systematic change process, systematic, right? So they don't want to go gradual, but for PNP they want a systematic one, and they are saying they are going for transparency first, When you look at diaspora engagement, JLP is focused towards investment and national building. So they want to build the nation and invest more. Whereas PNP is focused on rights and representation and inclusion. So I hope you got that summary on manifesto. Of course, details of the manifesto I did in another video. There is a video I did, of course, the title was Manifesto of PNP and JLP, and I was also covering other things from another country. So that is it about JLP and PNP. I don't know what you think about their manifestos, but currently they have been accused, both parties have been accused of lacking a budget. They have not given a budget for their manifesto. Like, what do they need to push ahead their approaches, right? So, as rallies continue, and the 3rd of September we are waiting to see whether PNP or JLP will be taking the major positions, and whoever will become, for example, is it Holness or Golding will become the major, that is the Prime Minister. All right. So now let's come back to Kenyan politics, and Kenyan politics have been taking an international space since GACHAGUA went to USA, right? So people are asking, why did GACHAGUA go to USA? And he said he would be there for a month or something. Now, he's not really been there for a month. He's been about 3 weeks, I believe. And now he's packing and coming back. This is the message we saw yesterday. Let me just check for it. There's a message here that he posted, and from there, he's proving to come back to Kenya. And remember, Murkomen had threatened that he should go to an asylum or end up in jail after writing a statement. So, of course, GACHAGUA responded to that and said that he is not going to be arrested by anybody because he's not answerable to the Kenyan system. Rather, he is answerable to the US who are holding investigations so far. All right. So let's check on that message. I had it here. Here it's somewhere. where the Gachagua had said that he's cutting short his tours. So let me just check. Sometimes I have to take time because the computer is so busy, right? Okay, computer has been having a lot of information. Nigel Washington, thank you, welcome on board. I've been seeing you once in a while, so thank you for coming back here and feel at home, like the video. All right, so let's check on the message that Gachagua relayed shortly, planning to come back to Kenya. I think it's here. Is it? I'm looking for that message he sent before deciding to come back. Right? Of course it was, Nigel is, Nigel, I'm not a girl, I'm a boy. Sorry. You know, the picture shows as if it's a girl, but it's not very clear. And again, I have a friend known as Nigel in Kenya, Nyanza, who is a girl. So no wonder I was confusing. Sorry for that. I didn't mean to. So Nigel Washington has been here. I've seen you various times, and I really appreciate that you corrected me. Now I know that I'm dealing with Nigel, a boy, not a girl, and I really appreciate your presence. Like the video. Like the video, please, as I look for this specific illustration. Oh, Nigel. Oh, so we pronounce it as Nigel, because actually gel sometimes reads as Nigel, but for girls it's Nigel. All right, I understand. It's like Nigel. All right, Lightning, thank you for correcting me. Because sometimes we mess with these names not because we want to, but it's just because we are not used to. Nigel. Are you saying Nigel or Nigel? Because from, all right, Nigel or Nigel? Almost, okay. Yeah, okay, thank you. So let's get to the message that Gachagua sent. Of course, I don't have to show it because what happened is Gachagua woke up to send this message. I think I've found it. I've found it here. And this is the message he sent 4 hours ago. Niger. So Gachagua has been away for almost 3 weeks, if I'm not wrong. And this is the message he sent. I had a very successful and fulfilling visit to the US with serious engagements with Kenyans in the diaspora. I regret being unable to visit scheduled remaining states since I need to get back home to join our party DCP in preparation for the upcoming by-elections in various parts of our country. I am sorry to cut my trip short. My profound apologies to the organizers and Kenyans whom I were to meet. The same has been rescheduled to early next year. I have been few days to rest before heading home, and as promised, my itinerary will be made public. I thank the Kenyans in the States for the love, warmth, and hospitality they accorded to us. I salute the organizers and officials of DCP chapters with superb planning, organization, and meticulous coordination. You are simply the best. God bless you. Guys, remember Gachagua is a poet. Gachagua is a poet, so he has to go on expressing all that he wants to do carefully, you know, right? So, it is what it is. Now, I'm trying to actually think of why Gachagua would decide to come back to Kenya. And I think one of the reasons as to why he's coming, just as he's shared, we have by-elections that are going to happen around 6 constituencies. One is in northeastern, I can't even spell the name. There is another in Nyanza, Game. There is another in Kaspul. You remember the MP died. We have another in Malava, Western Kenya. The MP also died. We have the other one where? Where else? Baringo. Yeah, Baringo. and we have another place, right? So the only way that leaders actually get to gain power in Kenya is to have a highest numbers of MPs. The more numbers of MPs you have as a party, the better you are positioned. Because with that, the numbers, and if these people will be loyal, you can actually pass a vote for something. You can also work on laws, and you can support whatever you want for your party. And that is simply why Gachagua actually is deciding to come back, so that during the election time, because I don't think he's so confident, even though he's saying in his letter that he's so happy about the organizers. I don't know whether he's talking about the DCP chapter within Kenya or outside, but the reality is that if you look at the ground, the leaders who were left behind are not very active. They're not really working towards the goal that Gachagua has had. So he has decided to come back so that he does groundwork himself. If you compare the time when Gachagua was in the country and when he left, his party has not been very strong. However, there is something that Kenyans have displayed, especially after the president decided to go to meetings one-on-one. You remember in Kakamega, the youth empowerment program, or rather the youth day, one of the young people students said that the problem is not Ruto, but his handwork, the handman. The truth is that he did not want to address him by blaming him. You cannot go blaming your father while standing before you. You will say that, I know you want to serve us, but you lack money. But indirectly, you'll have told him that he's failing, right? So we saw the young people at Kakamega actually directly talking to the president and showing why maybe some things are not working. Now that approach has been taken directly from DCP. If you know what DCP stands for, DCP normally say that they have to work by listening to the ground, right? That is what they say. So I believe that Ruto has seen this as the best way possible. And that is why we've been seeing him in Homa Bay. We saw him going to, he was in this youth affair that was at Kakamega. We also saw him where, he's been moving around a lot. Even today there's something going on, yeah? So the reason why he's doing that, he's so shaken by Gachagua. He knows his capability because Gachagua was able to the Mount Kenya people into voting for him. So he's so scared that this man, I'm not now with him. And the soprano man is not very strong when it comes to these aspects. SUDI and we have Wateken, we have hey, why am I forgetting? Farouk. Even though they are with him, Kashfan and Nico. Welcome on board. All right. So even though he has SUDI on the ground and he has people like Farouk, they cannot represent him in other different places like, let's say, Coast. Let's talk about Mount Kenya and all that. Moses Kuria was there. He ran away. Kashfan Nico anasema we ni Mkenya, of course. Na kama mi si Mkenya. Mi ni Mkenya. That's why I'm discussing Kenyan politics, right? And I always go even beyond that and discuss the politics of other places, right? So, when you look at this, the reason as to why now he is shaken, he knows very well that he needs a representative from Mount Kenya. I don't know who will do it. Because we are seeing people like Waititu. Waititu was recently released from jail and he has been having a serious case. And this is how things happen in Kenya. If you remember in Bungoma, there was this man with a case of wheelbarrows, right? Wheelbarrows. So the wheelbarrow case was just buried as the case ended, and he had to shut up and support the government. Possibly, Waititu and others will come up, because I also saw Who was this? I saw somebody addressing in Kiambu. A leader was addressing in Kiambu and in favor of the government, right? So maybe some few people are rising up to see what they can do. Of course, people have talked about impeachment and all that and how it will block, but Kenya is Kenya, Kenya Marua. Anything happens at any moment. Who knew? Who ever knew that Ruto would go to Nyanza and comfortably cook tilapia? Cook tilapia at the backyards of Gladys Wanga and serve it. Nobody knew. We never knew that, but it is happening. So in Kenya, anything is possible, right? Kenya Airport Authority Administration, Cash Fund and Nico, you have too many questions. They are asking so many questions and I cannot answer because I'm focusing on what I plan to talk about. I cannot now keep answering questions like, where do I come from? You know, it's not even necessary. When we are handling politics, sometimes I don't know why people keep wanting to know where specifically. Unatoka shimo gani specifically? I don't know. But it is what it is, guys. You understand? That is the tingo. All right. So, looking at that, you know, looking at the yesterday's event at Homa Bay, and us seeing also Ruto now coming up. Of course, if you didn't hear it, let me play some clip here. Ruto came up and said that in their party, they have now agreed squarely that when a male, president, when a male candidate is running for president, then the person who will be behind or the running mate will be female. It's about to go down, right? So, Kindiki is, however much he has been talking strongly about security and how to handle GACHAGUA, Ruto said that. So let me just play that clip before. Yeah, let me play it because Gladys Wanga is the very closest that is going to benefit from that because we have been seeing the moves. And yesterday when I did the analysis, I asked you, why would a man go and cook in the backyard of a woman? Of course, politically, it symbolizes something here. So, of course, we've got to know about it by today. So, let's just check on that receipt here from a video. All right. So, here it is. Here it is. Here it is. The president revealing something that is quite funny, but it is what it is, because if he decided, it means the party spoke. I think it's here that he said something. Apart from the signal, here there was a video where he said that. He said that, and I hope to find it. This will be the first time in GACHAGUA's history, lifetime for that matter, whereby having numbers there as early as now, and that is why these by-elections are so Barcelona playing. Anyway, I'll be looking for it as we proceed, but Ruto indeed said it, and I'm just looking for the clip. I know I'll get it. Sometimes it gets tough and you don't get what you have to show, but as you proceed, you get to uncover the video, right? So just bear with me. I'll be getting that video whereby the president is saying that in their party they have agreed that when they have the presidential candidate as male, the other person will be female. And of course, now from there, we clearly see that Gladys Wanga has been working for a cause. She knew, possibly, that their party will have such a cause. No wonder she was really embracing the president and working against Sifuna all the time, right? So that the vice president, of course, should be female. That is the argument. And I'm just looking for that video so that I don't look like I'm spreading rumors. I'm trying so much to get that video. Maybe I can take some 2 minutes to get it here. That is what they have told us, you know. That is what they have told us. The president himself has told us. And I'm just looking for that clip so that I'm giving what I've heard from him. Is it this one?
And by the way, this will be the first time in GACHAGUA's. Now, if you're here for the first time, please go on and hit the subscribe button. And if you're watching from different platforms.
Alright, so let's proceed as we continue looking for that video, because sometimes I look for it for too long, then get it when I don't need it, but it is what it is. But let me type here, I may get it. But he said that while in Homa Bay yesterday, I think. He said that yesterday, so let me just see whether I'll find it, because there's a lot of news related to the same. But I wanted the latest when he said that. Alright, so as we wait for that, let's check on other reasons as to why Gachagua would actually return to Kenya that fast. And I think he believes that maybe the president is getting an upper hand, right? Sylvia Million. Welcome on board, Sylvia Million, and like the video. So I think, in my opinion, I believe so much that Gachagua has reasoned out while away and realized that the people whom he left behind are not really working as he expected. Like, you look around for the rallies, you cannot see them working like he was here. Like, check on newspapers. Check on newspapers and see whether the headlines are actually holding people like Cleophas Malala. You know, do we see Cleophas Malala on the, headlines every day? We don't, you know. Are we seeing Matiang'i also on headlines all the time? We are not. We are only seeing once in a while, you know. Look at the DAP party also that is working hand in hand with DCP. We are talking about Natembea's group. Are they appearing on headlines all day long? No. So, this is possibly something that pushed Gachagua to think of coming back home. And before we proceed, let's just check on a video, and I hope it will not disappear like the other. There was a call, you know, Matiang'i had to do a voice call. Imagine. Here. This one here.
Nataka niseme watu wa mbele North, itakuwa makosa kubwa sana. Ile Kasongo ametufinya kuchagua mtu ya UDA.
And remember, that is a call. That is a call that Gachagua did while in US to the people of Mbeere.
Ametumia sisi zote. Mnaweza kubali? Mtasimama imara. And the biggest question is, how is Rigathi Gachagua managed? Itakuwaje Kasongo ameumiza watu ya Mbeere North akuje kutanganya watu wachague mtu ya UDA? Mnaweza kubali? Mimi nataka mtengeneze ground vizuri. Nikirudi kutoka Amerika.
So you've seen about Mbeere North case, right? Yeah. So Gachagua had to do a call while in the US and reassure them that he's coming. And he had to tell them that they should not vote somebody else in, because if they do, they'll be indirectly voting for Ruto. Will they actually act as they are promising, or are they only promising on in a crowd and at individual level do different. We don't know. We're just waiting. But it is what it is, guys. Politics in Kenya is such a big sham. Now, remember, there is something that the president did yesterday while in Homa Bay that proved that indeed our signals sometimes in Kenya are affected by his people. So the president went ahead to reveal something to do with signals and how they tamper with them. The way they cause jam. So the signal jammers are actually working for the government. That is what he indirectly said yesterday. And if you saw this video, I don't know whether you saw it. If you saw this one, I want to play it so that you listen to it and tell me what he meant. What did he mean? What did he mean by what he said here?
Enda kwa nyota. I repeat, *254#. Network hakuna hapa leo. Nafikiri wale watu, kuna watu wangu hapa wanazoea kuzima network. Wapi wale watu? Wewe, iko imekuja. Haya. Tunaelewana? Imekuja bado? Imekuja. Very good. So,
can you imagine, while in Homa Bay, the president proved that he has signal jammers, And I don't know how he decided to expose himself in public by telling us that he has his people who work against the signals. They can decide to step down network or something like that. Because he went in a meeting and he was telling people his people are there and they might have pulled down the signals. And that communication simply tells us what happened on Sabasaba Day. You remember? The signals of stations were actually put down totally. And so the president went ahead to say that. Let me see whether I'll get the other receipt from here. All right. Let me play this.
If a man is a candidate,
all right. This is the clip I've been looking for.
I want him to listen to him in UDA moving.
So guys, if you are still watching, I want you to hear that clip whereby Ruto is actually saying that if a man is the president, the vice president must be a woman. Listen to this. Listen to this. I was actually looking for it, but I've got it.
We must also agree that going forward, if a man is a candidate for president in our party, the woman must be the runner.
I hope you heard it. You heard it loud and clear. So the reason why Gladys Wanga has been so much close to the president, and you saw the clips I showed yesterday. If you have not seen, you can check in my previous videos for yesterday. And of course, you'll see this kind of context, or rather discourse, right? So that is why currently the rest of the people have no position. Yeah, lightning, I think you've seen it finally. I was looking for that clip and I didn't know where to get it, but finally I got it, And how humorous things can be, Some people are purporting that maybe SUDI, Oscar SUDI, I hope you know who he is. Hi, some people are purporting that Oscar SUDI might have gone to make sure that he cools down tempers with GACHAGUA, so that when he comes back, he works with Ruto. And I remember the previous videos. We have earlier videos where GACHAGUA used to actually appreciate Ruto. And I was like, can it really work? Can they really work together? Let me just check and see. Kenya is a funny country anyway. Yeah, let's check this one. Let's check the clip here and see what it will reveal about the former aspects of GACHAGUA and whether it might be true. Oh my goodness. So I'm asking myself, why did Oscar SUDI, for example, go to America? It's bizarre, indeed, weird. Huh? All right, so I'm just looking back to this history. You remember Gachagua then?
Regarding Gachagua is very strong. He could have problems like the ones they were having with Uhuru Kenyatta. Such a problem cannot come from a member of this family. I am a man who was in uniform. Mine is yes sir, yes sir, yes sir. Never allow anybody to discuss your boss with you. Usikubali. Because the minute you allow people to get into conversation to discuss your boss, you have lost it. So, naye ukiwa na bahati kama mimi upate boss mzuri, anakusaidia na kukupatia all the facilities to work. You just work. When William Ruto was deputy president, he had a difficult time. Alinyimwa magari, hakuwa na magari. Petroli alikuwa anaweka mwenyewe. Nyumba yake ilikuwa inanyesha. Chai alikuwa anatoa mfuko. Ndege anakoboa yake. Hakuna waziri anaweza chukua simu yake. And I must say, today here in charge, William Ruto, our president, is a man I have not seen, because despite all that, alivumilia. And no single day.
When I play back those videos, I just laugh. I just laugh because we've had very funny situations surrounding Gachagua. And when you listen to him currently, like he has been talking to the people of Mbere, you'll be surprised he's the same man. Now, of course, when Oscar SUDI was referring to Gachagua, and we heard this other guy, Murkomen, they were referring to him as a psycho case, a person who was not even suitable to be a vice president. And so they were insinuating he should be reporting to the country to write statements and also end up in a mental hospital where he'll be treated like Madare. Now listen to this. This is a response, or rather, from someone from USA. This is a response from someone from USA talking about Oscar SUDI. Of course, Oscar SUDI went to America, and I'm surprised. Why did he go? I just raise questions. Not that he shouldn't go, because if you have money in Kenya, you can do anything. Money is the ticket to everything in Kenya. If you have a ticket, money, you decide to vie for position like Sakaja, even if you don't have a paper, and you get to it. Like Mfalme of Mombasa, you can turn into officers and become somebody, but you, SUDI and US, I don't know. So listen to this.
You guys, you're not expecting that we'll give Gigi the love that we gave him. I know you are not expecting that. Gigi ni kiongozi na amesukuma from 6 to 7 million votes. Someone that you cannot ignore. Gigi alikuja huko. Hiyo ngemi, because it's called ngemi, it doesn't mean Wakikuyu tupu wanaenda. The other tribes walikuwa huko. Kuna watu walikuwa wa Kamba, tribes zingine. Even after that, Gigi mwenyewe, he met different communities. He met Kisses, he met Luyas, he met Kamba people. But now, you cannot put that unataka kuonyesha, because the only thing mnaweza hang nayo ya ujinga ni kusema Rigiji ni mkabila hivi, which is okay, you can say chenye unataka kusema, but the man controls 7+ million votes. Ako nazo. So, you now, umetoa ujinga yako mahali umetoa, umekuja kuinsult watu huku, watu wenye wako Seattle, unataka kusema na Wakikuyu. I don't know the problem unakuanga nayo na shida na Wakikuyu. Alitoka Seattle akakuja Boston. He met different people. Here in Boston, he met Kambas, he met Luyas. We went to DC. DC mulijaribu mukatukufukuza kwa kanisa, ilikuwa hapo hivyo juu. I don't want to get into business of church. Lakini hiyo church yenye ilikuwa na host huyu jamaa wetu Kaongo. Which is fine. I was there. I was the coordinator for UDA then. So hii diaspora naijua venye najua hii mkono yangu. Na ndio maana hii kifunguo ya William Ruto tuliweka kwa Pacific Sea. Hawezi pata hiyo kifunguo. Kwa sababu alikuja akatudanganya. Yeye mwenyewe alikuja huku, walikuja na Mheshimiwa Ngujiri. Rafiki yangu sana mzee, siwezi ongea maneno yake. Hata kama yeye ameamua kusupport William Ruto, yeye is justified to do whatever he wanna do. Alikuja huko, mimi I hosted them out, Ngujiri, Karibu Kositanyi wa Kenya Airport Authority tulikuwa nao. Senator Veronica Maina tulikuwa nao UDA. Karo huyu bibi ya David ya huyo William Ruto tulikuwa nao tunafanya kazi na wao. So so what you're saying it doesn't even add up. You know? But now watu walikuja wakadanganya.
All right. So the guy is actually backing Gachagua currently, and he is reacting towards Oscar Sudi, telling him that he should not treat USA the way he treats Kenya, and you should not hang on the tribal politics. Actually, if you look at these people's argument, even though they call Gachagua a tribalist, I have not seen any politician who is not a tribalist, because all of them at some point will refer to their region. And I think it's just because the reality of politics that you have to start from home before you go elsewhere. But in Kenya, if people want to use certain things to bring you down, they'll use it. Even at work, we see people who talk about professionalism when they themselves have no idea about professionalism, you know. They'll remind you, yeah, professionalism requires this, professionalism requires this. But in reality, those people have no idea what professionalism is in terms of their actions. If it is dresses, they'll wear the shortest. If it is discrimination, they'll be the highest discriminative fellas. If it is in terms of kitchen cabinets, they'll be the greatest queens of kitchen cabinets. If it is about backbiting and gossiping, they are the queens and kings of gossip. If it is witch hunting, they are also kings of that. But they'll keep telling you professionalism, professionalism. Even if you are the one who tries the best, you are at least at 80% of professionalism, and they are at 20. They'll keep telling you professionalism when they want to pin you down. But it is what it is. Sometimes some of us, we just stand with the truth and what we wanna have done. So in Kenya, when you talk about tribalism, I don't even understand what it means, because you can see even on the platform, somebody will keep asking, where do you come from? Because they want to know which tribe are you. Not just because they want to know you are a Kenyan, but they want to know particularly which specific place do you come from, so that they now begin maybe to attack you on basis of your tribe, which is neither there or there. Because when we come to politics, I think if people looked at each other in terms of ability, in terms of what the leaders can do, what their lives are, it could be better. It could change the situation, right? Even in professionalism, if people looked at hiring in terms of the workers, they would change the situation. But let me tell you the truth, even in Kenya, you go to a place of work and people will be like, what is your second name? Or what is your surname? During promotions in different fields, they also do the same. They look at the name, the surname. That is why you've seen some families, people have decided to actually go different and use either names that cannot suggest a tribe or something like that, which is unfortunate, because, again, we lose it. We lose it when we do that, because they say, mwachamila ni mtumwa. So, for example, if you leave your personality just because you want to fit, it becomes a problem. But that is Kenya for us, right? So the other third reason why I think Gachagua has had to come back to Kenya is that 2027 is not far, and he has to keep pushing. If he relaxes, and Kenyans have demanded that he comes back, because people are actually seeing how things are moving about, and somehow there is a negative aspect in his absence. There are so many things that have been happening. And some of those things, the only person who could talk about it in 1 minute, just sneeze, and the president feels the impact, is Gachagua, actually. So I think he's listened to the ground and realized that people need him back, so that he backs, he backs now at the people who are making noise here and there, right? That is one of the things that has been there. Now, you also see on the aspect of Homa Bay being focused on so much. Now, what happens to the rest? All right, so there is some blackout at the same time. My bundles were over, guys. So let's check on this empowerment aspect. Ruto is actually gaining a mileage using the empowerment projects, whereby now people are forced to say 2 terms instead of 1 term. I think you've seen this, especially what happened at State House with the young people, and maybe different other places. But then it seems it's a scam. And of course, there was a lady who came up. Was it Kameme? Kameme is a presenter on in a studio. She came out today and really talked about the same. But before that, let me play a certain young man known as Kamau wa Kisumu and what he said here. I don't know how true this is, but this is what he said.
Picha nilipigwa nikiwa na pikipiki na kifunguo. Nataka niwaambie wale wenye tulienda nao State House, ukweli wa Mungu hakuna mwenye alipata kitu. Na mkisikia kitu kinifanyikia, mimi kwanza niliamuka kwa nyumba yangu saa 9 asubuhi. Ili kuamuka saa 9 asubuhi, MCA wangu pia tukaamuka na yeye saa 9. MCA wangu tuliamuka na yeye tukaenda State House. Kufika State House, akaniambia enda pale, tukakaa. Acha niwape story. Kukaa hivi, nikapewa kifungu ya pikipiki, hata rais kuongea. Baada ya rais kuongea hivi, kupigwa picha, ile kaya inawaambia nilitolewa nje ya gate, nikadhani mimi naletewa pikipiki yangu. Mimi sikupewa hiyo pikipiki. And I want to blame someone, Karen Nyamu. Hawa ni makatelo wa Nairobi. Karen Nyamu kwanza ni ule mama mwenye anatumia vijana vibaya. Nataka nikwambie Karen Nyamu, wewe ndio uliniletea tag niende na State House. Na wewe ndio hukunipea kitu. So by the time unanitumia vibaya, kwanza huko nauliza MCA wangu, ile pikipiki iko wapi? MCA mwenyewe anazunguka State House hata hana connection. MCA mwenyewe hana connection State House. Na ule MCA nisapiga picha na ndio hii picha yangu na pikipiki. Pikipiki yangu iko wapi? MCA pia kuna tamaa, yeye pia anatamani hiyo pikipiki.
Hey, sometimes I'm just amazed and I have to laugh because why? Why not? Do you know there is a day somebody said that even Morara Kebaso's career ended as simple as this. Morara Kebaso was called to a certain meeting at, where was this? I think it was at, just at city center. Then he sat together with, I think it was Isaac, somebody, the spokesperson. And they took a photo. And that was enough to finish him because the picture was now used virtually to indicate that he had been collaborating with the government and he was a project. And that was the end of him. Then they now began to attack him, tell him that you have not paid tax for this long. You collected money from citizens on to go and conduct your programs on ghosts, on discovering and exposing ghost projects. And so that was it. That is how he came down. Now this guy here, Kamau wa Kisumu, I think you've heard him so many times. Like when the president began to say, when the government began to say cousins is actually an initiative by GACHAGUA to support the tribal aspect. You remember very well, this guy came up and was the first to speak on TikTok, and he trended by saying that yeye ni Kamau but ni wa Kisumu. Now they have finished him because he was convinced by Karen Nyamu that he can go to the State House and be empowered, receive a motorbike. This is how simple Kenya destroys people who think that they can be vocal, but they are not using their intelligence, So they decided to actually have this boy go in, then take a picture with a motorbike and the motorbike key. After that, the chapter was closed. The mission was accomplished. He was pushed outside the gate and he never got the motorbike. So even as he comes here to speak, who knows what the next scandal they'll make on him, Here he is addressing Karen Nyamu, but what do we know next? Right? Meanwhile, Ndindi Nyoro has been embarrassing Ruto and Chirchir in his speeches. Let's listen to this as we come to an end.
Of raising money. Some are very low-lying fruits. Of note is the road from the one we know is called Mau Summit, Rironi Mau Summit Road, or Nairobi Nakuru Mau Summit Road, others may call it that way. And in the initial stage, we are talking about close to 170 kilometers of road. Kenyans in the western part of Kenya deserve this road to be dulled, and they deserve this road to be upgraded. But it will not serve our economy when this road is packaged as a business model. This road, when we continue now instituting tolling, like what we want to do on Rironi Mau Summit Road, what we are basically doing is increasing the cost of doing business. Because now the motorist will be made now to pay for the fuel, pay the road maintenance levy in the fuel, which they already pay, but on the side, they'll again be needed to pay, get 100 billion shillings, build and expand the road from Nairobi, Nakuru, even all the way, expand it without making it a tolerable road for Kenyans to pay to use. And in that respect also, when we invest our own money, then we diminish the cost of doing business, because whoever does, let's say, importation of commodities headed to Uganda, they have to do comparisons between our Kenyan economy and using, for example...
All right, so you had Ndindi Nyoro referring to the roads and how they should be made. That is the last story. And I really appreciate the presence of Lightning. Lightning, you are very excellent. You have been with me all the time to the entire end of the channel. Actually, for someone to sit here and watch all the time, they're adding a lot of value, because the number of minutes they watch are so many, and they mean a world to me. But I don't really look down upon those who checked for few minutes. I really appreciate. Let me switch this one off. I really appreciate, because all in all, every one of you makes a lot of contribution by watching. But I really appreciate those who are here for long, because you really helped me a lot to, keep the conversation going. And one of the people who was here I should really appreciate was Lightning. Thank you so much for having been such a loyal, follower, or rather an audience, because you watched me throughout the discussion, and you kept our channel live. I also appreciate Sylvia Million, who came about. I appreciate Cash Fan and Nico, who was asking a lot of questions. And there was Gloria To. Gloria To was here. Kenya Airport Authority admin was here. Then we had Nigel Washington. We had Doris Mwenesi. And we had who else? The first one to come was Raj Baby. So I really appreciate you for your presence. And I always look forward to see you here. Tomorrow we'll be having another session. And I'll expect you here. Possibly the same time. Because most times I go to Live Saga TV by 2 after I finish with the Edutainment for Us channel. You can also watch me on Edutainment for Us channel, though on that platform I do social reactions and lessons for the learners. And I really appreciate all in all. Politics is so sweet. But then I hope people are really looking into what to do for 2027 to be a year where we'll see change and we don't keep complaining, right? And real development for us. So bye-bye. Have a good time. Adios.